Is this thing on? Shit. Fuck. I think it's on. I think it... It looks like it's on.
Everybody comes in, your grandmother, your...
And this is just the beginning of America First.
Get your words straight, Jack.
$7 million for reef fish management, $25 million to combat Asian carp, $2.5 million to count the number of amberjack fish in the Gulf of Mexico.
Honestly, Sam, if I could just get this sentence out. Hey, we could talk about Jimmy Dore can go and kill 15 kids tomorrow, and I still believe in force the vote.
Oh, seriously, hot sauce. I've been eating a lot of hot sauce, a lot of raw peppers and hot sauce. Oh, seriously.
It's not that they don't want to help. They don't know quite what to do. Play the radio. Make sure the television. Make sure you have the record player on at night. The phone. Make sure the kids hear word.
Big cons. I can.
Everybody comes in, your grandmother.
We hold these truths to be self-evident. All men and women created by God. You know the thing.
Did you use the word smart? So you said you went to Delaware State, but you forgot the name of your college. You didn't go to Delaware State. You graduated either the lowest or almost the lowest in your class. Don't ever use the word smart with me. Don't ever use that word.
Oh, give me a break.
Because you know what? There's nothing smart about you, Joe.
Retweet. That was an opinion of somebody, and that was a retweet. I'll put it out there. People can decide for themselves. I don't take a position.
Running against the worst candidate in the history of presidential politics puts pressure on me. Could you imagine if I lose my whole life? What am I going to do? I'm going to say, I lost to the worst candidate in the history of politics. I'm not going to feel so good. Maybe I'll have to leave the country. I don't know. And then they have cans of soup. And they throw the cans of soup. That's better than a brick because you can't throw a brick. It's too heavy. But a can of soup, you can really put some power into that, right? And then when they get caught, they say, no, this is soup from my family. They're so innocent. This is soup from my family. It's incredible. And you have people coming over with bags of soup, big bags of soup, and they lay it on the ground, and the anarchists take it, and they start throwing it at our cops, at our police. And if it hits you, that's worse than a brick because it's got force. It's the perfect size. It's like made perfect. And when they get caught, they say, no, this is just soup from my family. And then the media says, this is just soup. These people are very, very innocent. They're innocent people. Isn't it wonderful to allow protesting? No.
But I think the juxtaposition of that and the woman dancing in the shoe with the money flying at her, whole thing. Now again, I'm not saying that shouldn't be allowed. She's got a wet pussy. What are you going to do about it? Both of these things. And then we say, oh, but the woman with the leaking pussy and the bucket and the mop and the whole thing. Oh, but But we say, but the woman with the leaking pussy.
Well, you have to understand, the first time I ever heard of Black Lives Matter, they were chanting pigs in a blanket, talking about police. Pigs, talking about our police. Pigs in a blanket, fry them like bacon. Well, you have to understand, the first time I ever heard of Black Lives Matter, they were chanting pigs in a blanket, talking about police. Pigs, talking about our police. Pigs in a blanket, fry them like bacon.
In person, in my office, in Philadelphia.
I liked beer. I still like beer. But I did not drink beer to the point of blacking out.
Everybody comes in your grandmother ear.
As far as my relationships with all people, I think I have great relationships with all people. I am the least racist person in this room. I don't wear a mask like him. Every time you see him, he's got a mask. He could be speaking 200 feet away from me, and he shows up with the biggest mask I've ever seen.
They're coming all over the place.
Get your words straight, Jack.
They had a very bad original concept. It was carried out poorly.
The reason the market is doing what it's doing is people are sitting at home getting the checks from the government, okay? And this fair share is a bullshit concept. It's just a way of attacking wealthy people.
They had a very bad original concept. It was carried out poorly, and the cover-up was one of the worst in the history of cover-ups. There's a bad deal, should have never been thought of.
I don't know who created Pokemon Go, but I'm trying to figure out how we get them to have Pokemon go to the polls.
And then they have cans of soup.
Hello, users, and welcome to another episodic in-style motherfucking nation of Above It Motherfucking All. And I am here once again. I am here, and I'm doing a show. And y'all are gonna watch the goddamn show. So, that's what's happening. I'm going to make the microphone look reasonably like what? I mean, it looks a little something. I'm a little sore. I'm not gonna lie. My feet hurt. I'm not even gonna lie. I was gonna show you my feet, but I don't even know if I want to go there. Like, I don't want to ruin my fucking pristine rating on WikiFeet right now. But like, they're not looking good, folks. They're not looking good. And so yeah. So hello everyone. Welcome to the goddamn program. I appreciate y'all for showing up today. I don't know how many people are here. I don't really care. Just kidding, I'm looking. Only 30 people. 38, it just updated. 38 people are here on this day, at this time. Amazing. Alright, so, yeah, so I'm gonna, do the same thing I've been doing. I don't know if I'm gonna do any extra content. I probably won't. Y'all, I need some retweets on this. I need some motherfucking retweets, you know what I mean? Like, come on, y'all. Hit me up.
Retweet. That was an opinion of somebody, and that was a retweet. I'll put it out there. People can decide for themselves. I don't take a position.
So yesterday was really fun. For those of you that didn't know, I did a segment on the David Feldman show yesterday. So I'm gonna see if I can go about clicking that. Or clipping, as in like taking my segment and putting it on my channel. from his 18-hour live stream. And so, I'm going to see what I can do about that and post it on my channel. I don't know. I haven't asked them about it. I was like, you know, I should probably do that, right? I should probably do that, right? You know what I'm saying? But, you know, what are you going to do? Well, I'm not going to hashtag my show. I mean, you know, this is for the real people. I don't want, like, fucking news agencies coming in to watch Above It All. Or do I? Or do I? I don't know. I guess I don't. Because I didn't. I guess the answer is I don't. I can't with AKA Dick Cox. I can't with that shit, man. I can't. That's so much. Is that really his name? Richard Michael Cox, AKA Dick Cox? The AKA is what seals the deal there. I fucking can't with the AKA. Oh. Oh, Lord have mercy. All right. What time were you on? I watched until 11:30. What time was I on? What? What? I mean, I'm on right now. What time was I on? What? AKA Dick Cox. Oh, man. Oh, man. Yeah, I had no idea how the David Feldman show worked, right? So I guess, like, I was Mila's guest. I don't know, right? Like, I guess Mila's, like, a paid contributor or, like, either works on the David. I have no idea, man. I'm going to be honest. I was on so many drugs last night when I was on the David Feldman show. I barely remember even. I barely remember even doing the goddamn show. It's really funny because, like, when I was on the show, I tried to find, because the cars and, like, the chanting was so loud, is I tried to, like, go the next street over, right? And then, like, do the interview, and then, like, you know, kind of peer off and, like, see, like, look, that's happening over there. And then there was a point where they started moving, and I got lost, right? I didn't swear a single time. That's crazy. I guess I was in professional media mode. I don't know. But either way, so I was trying my hardest, like, to find the crowd as the show was ending. As the show was ending, I was like, wait a second, this is gonna be over any second now. I gotta go find the fucking crowd. And so, yeah, and I did lose the protest, but I found him pretty much immediately. And then from that point onward, man, that was crazy. Hey, Mila. Hey, what's up? I know, it was funny because you were on there. I was, like, using your account. I have no idea what happened. I have no idea, but it worked, and that's all that matters, right? But, like, I would also love to know what happened there. Also, my voice sounds like shit because I've been screaming all day. So I apologize if I sound like a dumb bitch. Not much I can do about that at this current juncture. But, yeah, so... Man, my feet fucking hurt, dude. David doesn't pay you? Well, he should pay me for that amazing reporting. But yeah, so that's kind of what's going on. Wow, man. My toes are like little red balls of pus. I'm just kidding. They're not that bad, but like they're pretty bad. They're pretty bad. They're pretty bad. Hello, Bethany. Good morning. I'm sorry I didn't get those clips. What clips are you talking about? I have no idea what the hell you're talking about. The man has 14 hours to fill. He needs a constant stream of guests. Yeah. You've been listening to David for 10 years? That's amazing. Have you ever been on the show? Did I leapfrog you? Good morning, comrade. Did I just leapfrog you? Am I going to stream the press conference? I am not going to be streaming the press conference. I have no reason to stream that. That's being streamed by other people doing their thing, right? And so, like, that footage will be available at any time. That's the way I say it. When I try to cover protests, I try to cover angles that aren't being covered, you know? And so, like, press conferences are the most covered angle. I have no reason to go there at this point. Right, the status coup clips. Oh my god. Yes. I ran into I think his name is John out there. At some point, I think it was like after the David Feldman show, and I like found the group again. I saw him, you know, kind of roaming around in the middle, trying to get some good angles, and I'm like, wait a second, that's gotta be this guy. So I go on my phone, which is not in my hand because my phone's charging, so the phone is not in my hand. But if it were in my hand, right, let's just use my pill container. So I go on my phone, right, and then I like search, and then I'm like, oh yep, that's them, and I look at their live feed. But yeah, so that was pretty cool. Apparently, I was all over that. Apparently, you know, I got not just you, Bethany, but I got a bunch of people tell me that that they saw me on the Status Quo feed. So, hello, Lions Den. How's it going? How's it going? I think a partial version of the video has been released, but we're still waiting on a full unredacted, real from start to finish raw footage clip from all of the officers' presence body cameras. Also, hey, Amanda. Thank you, thank you. I'm very professional. Are you talking about on the David Feldman show or in general? Because both of those things are probably wrong. Dick Cox. I can't with Dick Cox, man. I can't with that shit. Imagine you live... Like, if I lived my whole life and my name were Dick Cox, I'd be a Republican too. I mean, like, there's really no other option for me. You know what I mean? Like, my God, alright? Do I support Antifa? Bitch, motherfucker, I am Antifa. CNN obtained a video filmed by a neighbor. Interesting. Yeah, I guess I'll watch that. I don't know if I'll watch it on stream, but I'll watch it real quick. But yeah, the video that the Brown family received was a 20-minute, or not 20-minute, I wish. It was a 20-second excerpt. So I'm a fascist. Yes, being against fascism makes me a fascist. 2 + 2 = 12.
Demands for answers and accountability in a...
Alright, so I'm like just looking at this video. I don't want to like show it on stream until I watch it first. Because that's not something that I don't think people need to look at that, so. But I'm looking at this video here. It's crazy to look at like fucking CNN talking about like, oh yeah, I've walked by there like fucking 80 times in my life. There you go, sure. Yeah, this video doesn't show much, it seems. Yeah, so apparently CNN has obtained a video from a neighbor. It doesn't show much, but it, you know, it shows some sort of positioning. So I guess I'll play this on stream. So this is a video taken by a neighbor of Andrew Brown, apparently showing the scene shortly after the shooting took place. So.
There's an accountability in Elizabeth City, North Carolina, in the wake of another police shooting. Here we are talking about another police shooting. CNN has obtained some exclusive video. Let's put it up. It was taken by a neighbor from a distance in the moments after Andrew Brown Jr. was shot and killed by police who was attempting to serve him. They were attempting to serve him with an arrest warrant. It has been 5 days since Andrew Brown Jr. was shot to death by police. 5 days. And you heard Chris saying 5 days, and if there's no transparency or people think you're hiding something, then they have to fill it in with something, with assumptions, right? With questions. 5 days of questions without answers. 5 days of body cam videos kept from the public. You know, I've been saying this all along on this show, since I've been doing this show, that the transparency of having video is the main tool that we have to be able to determine, what happened in these cases. So, without that transparency...
Pretty good segment from Mr. Don Lemon there. You know, it's been really weird to watch, like, mainstream media coverage, and I guess I should be watching mainstream media coverage of my city, right? But I've just been more focused on the ground stuff. But I mean... you know, I hadn't seen that one. But I will say that yesterday the family of Andrew Brown was supposed to see the video footage at 11:30. They denied access again and said, come back in like a couple hours and we'll show you 20 seconds. And so they came back in a couple hours. They didn't know that they were only going to get 20 seconds. And then they realized, oh, we're only going to get 20 seconds from one body camera. All the faces and identities of the other soldiers, and I say soldiers, they're militarized police, they're soldiers, they're super soldiers with guns that went into a neighborhood in a school zone and shot at someone while kids were outside, right? So these are soldiers, these are foreign occupants, these are military combatants that went into our city. All of their faces and identities have been blurred and redacted and all that stuff. So the video that they watched was just their family member being brutally murdered, like it was a snuff film. And no, like, the reason why you would watch that video, right, is so that you know why your family member was murdered, as if this is like a fucking snuff film, or why, or where, or how. None of that information was transmitted via the video footage because they just stole it all. They redacted everything. They cut everything of interest out and just showed an execution. And so it's just disgusting. And so I just wanted to throw that out there. Absolutely insane that this is going on in my place. And again, I've been on the ground covering it every single day, so I've got videos of every single day of the protests and all that. And so I'm going to be covering that as well. Yesterday, day 6, I'll be covering that very soon. Today would be day 7. And so I'm going to probably be going out shortly after the stream is over. So that's my plan. But yeah, so decent clip from CNN. Also, like, Bakari Sellers, now, I want to say, I will say this, I did not like Bakari Sellers until yesterday. Not a huge fan. He's, been, like, the only thing I know about him is that he's got the worst take possible on almost every situation on Twitter. Like, imaginable. Like if we're talking about a wealth tax, Bakari Sellers is on the exact wrong side. If we're talking about, like, defunding the police, Bakari Sellers not doing too well. If we're talking about, like, socialism, Bakari Sellers not great, right? But when it comes to, like, what he was doing in our city of Elizabeth City, I have to say Bakari Sellers was very, 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 very nice. And he did do some very good stuff and spoke really well when he did speak. And so I want to say that I appreciate that. That being said, the guy, like, I was tempted to, like, try to, like, go up there and talk to him at some point. But, like, also, why would I? I mean, like, that's kind of weird. It's like, hey, I think you have stupid takes on Twitter all the time, but thanks for being here. Right? Like, I couldn't figure out a way to make that, like, not bizarre, awkward, and strange. Right? But either way, what are you gonna do? Like, anything is better than nothing, right? And so, now, my worry, and I will say that, before I get into, like, the main segment, my worry with these protests is that they are being liberalized, in some capacity. But after last night, I think my worry of that is kind of gone. Last night was very decentralized, very radical protesting, especially throughout the night. And so, like, there was a couple nights where I was kind of fearful that the protesting was being liberalized. And what I mean by that is, like, going from effective disruption to just kind of like a parade. You know what I mean? Because I'm going to be honest. There was a part when we went to Walmart and then the cops offered to drive people home. And it's like, I wouldn't accept that. I wouldn't accept a cop riding me home from Walmart after, like, this big, like, shutting down of economic supercenter. I would not accept a ride home from the police, but some people did. And to me, that rubbed me really the wrong way. But I mean, I'm not going to go out there and, like, say that a protest has been fully liberalized. But I mean, I was getting kind of worried. But last night, and then also when I read that, like, Bakari Sellers was coming and then a bunch of other people were coming, I was definitely worried that the protest would be very liberalized. But after last night, I'm very much so not concerned about that anymore. Really in any capacity, because, and I'll get into it, but last night the energy was extremely, I would say that last night the energy was outstanding. And we had a lot of people from Elizabeth City, a lot of people from outside Elizabeth City, like, protesting, very much so, anti-cop protesting specifically. And I'm just saying, like, and I want to say my perspective is of a radical perspective, right? And I understand that there are people that live in Elizabeth City that do not have a radical perspective and just literally want the body camera footage. And I understand that, right? And I understand that. But me personally, right, like, I want police reform. I mean, I say I recommend we use this moment to decriminalize drugs in our city. Why was someone assassinated in a school zone? Over allegedly controlling having controlled substances, which, by the way, they searched his car and his home. He had no drugs. He had no weapons, right? But he was originally supposed to be arrested for drugs, right? So why would they have gone into a school zone and shot like with kids outside if it weren't for drug laws. So the way I see it, what we should try to do is we should try to push for not only criminal justice reform, police reform, defunding the police. We should be pushing for drug decriminalization in the city of Elizabeth City. That's what I think. And I've been like kind of like tossing that idea around with a few people. And so, you know, I'm trying to like, you know, see if I can get other people to talk about it. But really, like, I'm like not a huge fan of like, you know, I just want the body camera footage to release. Yes, I want the body camera footage to be released. Absolutely, of course. Right? But it's like the whole situation from the get-go, right? Is over apparently drugs. And why are drugs worth of an assassination in a school zone? They're not, right? So it's like, if we want to fixing the root cause, defund the police, abolish the sheriff's department, and decriminalize all drugs within the city or the county or the state. I mean, as much as we could get. But I do think decriminalizing drugs within the city is relatively possible. And I'm just throwing that out there as like possible ideas. And I am worried about, you know, relatively worried about liberalizing the protests. Especially because the people of Elizabeth City do not want to become violent, do not want to do like the whole rioting and looting thing, right? And you got a bunch of liberals coming into the fucking city saying, don't be violent, everyone. And it's like, bitch, motherfucker, you don't live here. You don't know what our goals are. You don't know what our desires are. I find it really disrespectful for people. Like, there are speakers that are coming into Elizabeth City that are not from here that are telling us to not be violent and to be peaceful. It's like, what the fuck do you think we've been doing for the last week? You know what I mean? So it's like, I don't know. I worry about that. And, you know, after yesterday, I would say my worries about that have greatly diminished. But there you go. There's rumors that it was because dirty cops were in on it and he was no longer useful, but that could just be headcanon. I mean, yeah, that's the thing, is rumors are all... As far as I'm concerned, and I have gotten criticism, it's like, as far as I'm concerned, any rumor is perfectly justifiable to spread because official sources are not clarifying anything. Now, again, right? Should I get up here and tell you I don't know anything? Oh, here's my show, everyone. I know nothing. Have a good day. No, I'm going to tell you what I hear on the ground. I'm going to tell you what the family of Mr. Brown has been saying. I'm going to tell you what people around me have been saying. I'm going to tell you what witnesses have been saying. I'm going to tell you this and that. It's not my fault if the police are not releasing the video evidence. That's not my fault. I have no jurisdiction over whether or not that's going to take place. So if the option is give you any information over give you no information, I'm going to choose give you any information. And yes, the information is not concrete. Yes, the information is not fully verified. Yes, the information could be wrong. But guess what? If you want the real information, if it's so stressful to your everyday life that you want the real information, oh, I need it. Ugh, I must have the real info. Then call the fucking sheriff's department and ask for the real goddamn information. It's not that goddamn hard. So I'm just throwing that out there. But yeah, I will be talking more about the protest last night in just a second here once I get into the main segment. But I'm drinking coffee, so just give me a sec. It's J-Ass motherfucking L. How's it going? JL's not been here too often. Either that or I haven't been streaming too often. I don't know. It's your city to do what you want with. Choice is yours. Exactly. I can do whatever I fucking want. The sheriff has been giving you wrong. That's another thing, is the sheriff started out by saying it's a search warrant. Just kidding, it's an arrest warrant and a search warrant. Just kidding, it's actually just an arrest warrant. Just kidding, we don't have any search warrant. Just kidding, it was this. Just kidding, we didn't use this kind of gun. Just kidding, we did use this kind of gun. Actually, no, wait, it was this kind of gun. Right, so they've been lying constantly. Right, so the sheriff's department is lying constantly. Right, everyone doesn't know what the fuck's going on. Right, witnesses have different accounts, right? And so it's kind of hard to piece together a story. So I'm just telling y'all what I know. You know what I'm saying? Hi, I'm new. I found you on WikiFeet. Oh my lord. Oh my lord. It happens. It happens. I've had people from the protest say, "Oh, I've seen you on WikiFeet." No, I'm just kidding. That hasn't happened. That has not happened. But I have had people from the protest that say like, "Oh, I saw your videos on YouTube covering the story. I didn't, you know," and that's been pretty fun. Like I'm at this point where it's like really strange, where it's like, like walking into town, I see people like driving up to me and saying, hey, I've seen you at the protest and I've seen you on YouTube. I love your stuff. And I'm like, thank you. I don't know who you are, but I appreciate it. And it's like really bizarre. I don't know how to handle that. Like on an emotional level, on a personal level, I don't know how to handle that. I'm still thinking about that. But yeah, you know, what are you going to do? Do I have Twitter? Yes, I will be going into the Twitter segment very soon, so please hold. Just doing a little bit of chatting with the chat before I get into that. You make new buddies. I have made new buddies. That's true. I still can't with Richard Michael Cox, a.k.a. Dick Cox. I can't do that. I can't read that message. I can't read that username. It's unreadable. It's illegible to me. I can't do it. Saw you on the David Feldman show yesterday, so that's why I'm here. You've got a great show here. Consider this a Feldman bump. Oh, shit! Otherwise, I never would have heard of you. Keep up. How did you like my segment, Cheyenne? Tell me, because I'm going to be honest. I barely remember. I was on drugs yesterday, and I was at a protest, so, like, I was having this, like, otherworldly energy coursing through my veins. So I barely remember the interview, to be honest with you. I also did not sleep super well. I mean, I slept 9 hours, but it's, like, one of those things where it's, like, my sleep, you know, when you sleep, your brain prioritizes, like, storing memories. It prioritizes, like, you know, muscle recovery, that kind of stuff, right? And so my brain has not fully, you know, metabolized, I suppose, all the memories of everything. And so I barely remember the David Feldman show. I remember, like, getting on the show was such a huge ordeal. The bit where you couldn't understand landscape mode, I didn't know what that was. Like, they were asking me to do something, and I was, like, worried. I was like, what are they asking me to do? I was like, what do I do here? Hey, Jake, how's it going, man? You've got a lot of catching up to do, you know, as far as content goes. I've got a lot going on here. But this is a good time to show it, because I'm about to go into the Day 6 recap. So, you were informative and knew your stuff, and you came with receipts to prove your work. I don't recall coming with receipts, but thank you for that. I appreciate it a lot, actually. Did I eat mushrooms at a protest? I will not answer that question. Okay, boomer. That's me. I'm a boomer. Just working and exploring Twitch. This motherfucker's exploring Twitch. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. Imagine exploring this new world. Like, you just put on a spacesuit and you're just going on the atmosphere. You're just running around, jumping from crater to fucking crater. Unbelievable. That's been me. I've been exploring Facebook recently, right? Especially with all this protest action going on in my city. What I've been doing in the morning and sometimes during the day at protests is I've just been making fun of people on Facebook. All the boomers. They're like, I'm trying to get my kid to soccer practice. Why not? Like, I was like, bitch, motherfucker, skip a day. Like, it's not like you're not gonna die. Like, if your kid doesn't go to soccer practice fucking 4 days a week on like a religious fucking schedule, you will be fine, motherfucker. I promise you. And so, like, I've been going on Facebook a little bit, and it's been really fun. It's been a lot of fun. And, you know, I honestly, man, it really, I mean, I feel that. Discovering a new website is amazing. I'm going to be honest, 0PE, I don't know what I'm doing about friend requests. I started getting, like, 80 friend requests a day from, like, bots, like, from Egypt and, like, fucking Iran and, like, from, like, and I don't have any problem with Egypt or Iran or people from Egypt or Iran. Right, but I'm trying to, like, ask them, hey, how do I know you? And they're not responding, and it's like, I'm afraid to just look at the friend requests. I'll do that, like, when all the protesting is over. Or you tell me who you are, and I'll try to dig for you. But, like, the layout to Facebook is awful. I have no idea I have no idea how to use the goddamn page at all. I am sorry. I'm such a goddamn boomer when it comes to Facebook. I have no absolute earthly idea how to use the goddamn site. It's a miracle I can even find the boomers, right? And my thinking is like, well, the boomers can't use this website any better than I can, so like the most I can figure out how to get to is probably where all the boomers are hanging out. And that's like, and the boomers are like all on the city pages, you know, they're all like, you know, like talking on like, you know, the city pages and talking about like on the municipality pages or on the sheriff's pages, you know, and I'm like, okay, those are the boomers. That's where the boomers are at. So I go there, I hang out with the boomers, and we chillax, we go way back. Hello, Nura. I'm totally with you on your Facebook take. I had never used the site up until a couple days ago, until the protest started. Like, the only reason I joined Facebook is because people on the first night of protesting, the people at the protests were like, we're going to organize on Facebook. So I'm like, I have this Facebook account. My brother forced me to make a Facebook account for Above It All like a year ago, and then I never touched it. I'm just going to use this Facebook account. And that's kind of how, I got it on that one. I'm going to do the recap segment here. I'm going to finish this coffee soon. If anyone is new, if this is your first stream, let me know if this is your first stream. I know that like these streams have been a little bit non-standard. And again, I don't know when the streams will become standard again. I don't know if there will be a new standard for these broadcasts. I don't know when I will do the original like kind of schedule. I don't know when I'm going to cover things that aren't in relation to this case. And I hope that that's okay. I hope that you're okay with me not covering the latest Joe Manchin flip-flop. I know, and I trust me, I want to talk about Glenn Greenwald going on Glenn Beck's show. Trust me, I need to talk about Glenn Greenwald going on Glenn Beck's show, and that will happen at some point, right? I know that Jimmy Dore has been making these bizarre force the vote tweets and videos again, and I'm very much aware, and people have been sending me these videos, and I'm like, I'm aware that they exist. I know that they exist. I'm sorry, I'm being a real activist right now, right? So like, this is kind of the situation I'm in, right? It's like, a lot of y'all don't know that this is kind of what I do. Because the last time I did protesting was before this show was a live show. You can't send me money via Super Chat? For real? Is there a problem that I'm missing out on? I hope not. Unless I've like just discovered something new once again. I mean, I hope not. It says that I'm good. It says that I'm good. Verified. If you can't get it to work, PayPal, Patreon, or Cash App also works. But yeah, so again, I did some protesting last year. Most of my protesting was experiences in 2018 and 19 before I moved to North Carolina. And again, I never expected this kind of action in my hometown. Like, I would have maybe expected, 30-minute drive out, but I don't have a car, or like that kind of stuff. I would have expected that, but I would have never expected being able to walk 5 minutes to a giant protest occupation, right? I have not fully prepared the stream's audience for that kind of material. I'm sure that there was a lot of people that viewed my stream that did not know that this is the kind of person that I would be in this sort of scenario, and I'm happy to introduce you to this kind of stuff. But yeah, and I also want to say that when I do go to protests, I don't go as a live streamer. I don't go as a person doing a show. Outside of the David Feldman show, I'm not, the only reason I did that is because it's either I'm going to be outside or I'm going to be at home at that point. I mean, I hear gunshots frequently. Felix Cornelius. Now, I wouldn't say that I could pinpoint exactly which gunshots are these gunshots, right? But I hear gunshots frequently, and I do recall hearing loud noises on that morning, because it was around when I woke up. So that's all. I'm not going to go out there and be like, I was in the grassy knoll and I saw. I'm not going to do that kind of shit. But it's I hear gunshots frequently, and I definitely did hear gunshots that day. How are you going to send me a super chat with a hot dog emoji? Richard Michael Cox, a.k.a. Dick Cox, unless that's part of the joke. But again, maybe I'm triggered because they were serving hot dogs yesterday at the public safety building. And these motherfuckers are vegetarian options. What's a vegetarian? And I'm like, how do I even live here, right? So, as far as I know, I may not be the only anarchist in Elizabeth City, but I am probably the only vegetarian in Elizabeth City that I've seen so far. So, these motherfuckers were serving hot dogs and hamburgers, and I was sitting over here damn, bitch, what the fuck? Bethany, $4.99 super chat test. Nura, $2. It's working, and we're proud of you. Thank you so much. Oh my god, / I can't. There you go. The scheme worked. I know I did not, Catherine Elizabeth. I did not expect vegetarian options, but I am still easily triggered by seeing things like hot dogs and hamburgers. John from Status Quo. Yes, I did run into him. I talked to him on while he was streaming at some point. It was after the David Feldman show, so I don't know if you can find that, but I did talk to them at some point. I think it was on the stream. I'm not on, like, I wasn't on the stream. I don't know. I don't know. You'd have to go back and watch the footage and then let me know, but I did speak to them. JL, $20. Thank you. Number one, flag waving. I hate when people, not to be offensive, but when people send me a super chat with no message and it's like a decent amount of money, it's like, thank you for the money. You have nothing to say, and I appreciate that, but thank you. Some guy, hi Andrea, please cut a promo for us for Above It All. I honestly don't even, where do I even begin on that? It would appear that EC does not have any vegan or vegetarian restaurants. That's crazy. Yeah, I went out to... I don't know if I said this yesterday. I went out to eat at a restaurant. I know. I went to a restaurant. Not yesterday, but the day before. I went to a restaurant. I ate, get this, inside of a restaurant. Right? Isn't that incredible? Like, the concept, right? It's incredible. I went into a restaurant, right? I sat down, and I ate food while still in the restaurant, and then left the restaurant while the food was in my body. It was incredible. Oh no, we have barbecue restaurants. They just might not be called what you're looking up. Hey, at Discord in the chat, the body cam footage has not been released yet. We don't know it. I have no interest in what you're peddling. This room is not a room where you can successfully peddle fascist propaganda and get away with it. If you want to go do that, try CNN. Go try MSNBC. Go try your grandmother on Facebook, because that shit does not work here. And you are wasting our time. You are wasting your time. And honestly, I mean, it's really, like, you're just wasting your time. Like, go somewhere else. If your goal is to try to convince people that cops are actually angels and they're beautiful people, not gonna happen here. Like, I'm just telling you that right now. We got Frenchies up in this place. We got anarchists all over the place. It's not gonna happen. You're not gonna convince us that, oh, the cop is actually secretly pretty cool, actually. I went to high school with that cop, and we played laser tag once. That was awesome. Like, therefore, Andrew Brown should have been murdered. Like, that's not gonna happen. I'm sorry. It's been over a year for the restaurant. That was me too, Alicia. But my figuring is I have one dose of the vaccine. Right, and also, the restaurant was empty. It was just our, like, protest group that went into the restaurant. So it's like, it's not like anyone else is there. Right? So it's like, I've got one dose of the vaccine. You know what? It's an empty restaurant. All right. I'll go in. I'll go explore. I'll take notes. Right? I'll report back as the situation on the ground in this restaurant. Like, I'll go, do some live reporting. And so, I did, and I ate food, and it was very delicious. But yeah, so. So yeah, I'm gonna do the recap segment here. But yes, I am interested in meeting up with Status Quo's, camera people again, over the next couple of days. I don't know if they know anyone in Elizabeth City besides me, and so I like to give people an introductory experience into a place that I've lived in for several years. I gotta go, but I love y'all. Going back to work after a long break. Imagine going at a time like this. Like, you could stay, but you're not. You're just gonna go. Like, that's crazy, man. That's out of control. But have a good one, Alicia. I hope you have a good day. So I would like everyone to know that I've successfully managed to create a Twitter thread. I know that this is breaking news here, but I've made a Twitter thread and it works. The whole thing is functional. So, bada boom, folks. And we're gonna get into this. So, man, my fucking body hurts. Let me tell you. Also, I just want to say, and I don't want to be like a prick here, but I'm more than welcome to be that prick. If you do send me money or want to send me money, on PayPal or Cash App specifically, Patreon as well, I will get access to the money immediately on PayPal and Cash App. Whereas if you give me super chats, it's not going to be until May 21st that I get that money. And so if you want to be able to support me in any sort of emergency circumstances when it comes to these protests, let's say police come in and start, firing like rubber bullets and I break my leg or something, right? If you wanted to contribute to that emergency situation, PayPal would be the best bet because I get that money instantly. And I do have a card that I could use. I also have a Cash App card. So honestly, either one of those two. And so just like, if there's emergency medical equipment, let's say I need medication, let's say like, someone in the crowd needs something or like, like that kind of scenario. If you do want to contribute to that, like on the ground protest supplies and all that stuff, PayPal and Cash App would be very, very much so appreciated. And so I'm just throwing that out there. I do appreciate the super chats, of course, absolutely. But I'm not going to gain access to that until next month, and who knows what's going to happen next month. I don't know if the protests are going to be continuing on May 21st. I don't know if that's going to be the case, but I will not have that money until May 21st. So, yeah, I guess Feldman did say he wants me back on the show, but I didn't hear that because I was like worried about where the crowd was, and like, I could barely hear him because of the chanting and all the like the noise. But yeah, so how good is Patreon? That's my method. Patreon, I am perfectly okay with because I get to withdraw the Patreon money at the beginning of every month, right? So I'll have that money within a week. PayPal and Cash App, I'll have the money instantly. And then YouTube, again, like YouTube is just not super reliable. But yeah, so PayPal is going to probably be the best option for those of y'all that want to do that. And again, I do appreciate that. And I have been like, I do share I have equipment with me that, food, water, medical equipment that I have shared with people in the crowd. So it's like, I am putting my own money into it, that kind of stuff. So I'm just throwing that out there. It's a retweet. It's, it's an opinion of somebody. And if you want to contribute, feel free. All right, let's get into the recap segment. All right, let's go. All right, folks. So, day 6 of the protests in Elizabeth City for justice for Andrew Brown have concluded. It is currently day 7. As I speak, it is day 7. But before I go outside and join the protests, I'm going to recap my experience at yesterday's protest. So, yesterday, people gathered at the Public Safety Building, which is where the Sheriff's Department is in our city, at as early as 7 in the morning. And I just want to say, this video's got 7,000 views. Isn't that crazy? 7,000 views. Like, for this. Like, there's no, like, it's just like, what? Right? 7,000 views. That's crazy. So I get there. Now, I want to say Sunday, the crowd was not super big. A lot of people took breaks on Sunday. We are in the South. There are a lot of religious people. A lot of people did take Sunday to rest. And I did not. I was out there Sunday, but yesterday was Monday, right? And so on Sunday, I was a little worried if, like, the protests were going to die down. But Monday, I'm going to be honest. Monday, yesterday, we had a significantly large showing of people. We had a large showing of people. And a lot of people were out there as early as 7 in the morning. By the time I got there, it was about like 11:45-ish. And so, just throwing that out there. And so around when I got there, I had realized I had got information that the family of Andrew Brown was supposed to go there at 11:30 to see the footage of their family member being shot down in Elizabeth City. And so the Sheriff's Department basically said, no, we have to edit this down. We can't show it to you right now. And so they left and told us that. And so what we did was we decided to march down and occupy the bridge into and out of Elizabeth City. and, you know, just demand justice. And so now I don't know if this is part of the original plan of the sheriffs, but then the sheriff around this point said, come back at 1:30 and we will show you the redacted videotape. So we all went back there at 1:30 to support the family, and by the time they got in there, it was like 3 o'clock. And so, like, you know, we went there, we chilled. You know, personally, and I don't want to incriminate myself, I smoked a lot of totally legal, you know, CBD in the parking lot of the sheriff's department, and I want to say that, you know, a lot of other people were doing the same. So we were all just chilling. They were serving hot dogs and all that kind of stuff. And all that. But in between that, we are occupying intersections. As you can see, that's me. And as you can see, there's another crowd back here. That's the bridge. And so we were also, like, you know, there's a little side streets that people could enter. We were occupying the side streets. That water tower right there is where the public safety department is just about located, if I understand correctly. And so, yeah. So again, we marched back there. People are just chilling. Someone apparently had heat stroke and had a seizure. And so I just wanted to, like, I video clipped this because one of the common things that Facebook boomers love to talk about is, oh, we're blocking the road. What if an ambulance needs to get through? So what happened was EMS had to get through. And so now everyone in the protest was like, all right, let's go. It was actually the police that were like, wait a second, we can't let you in here. And so what we had to do is we had to go demand that the police move. Now, it wasn't that big of a deal. They did move, right? But, you know, they had to wait until someone told them. And so that's, you know, something that, and I just wanted to throw that out there. You know, when emergency services are necessary, they are called and they come really quick, and no one will impede them coming to assist people. And then also people in the crowd had medical equipment, all that kind of stuff. And so around after that, we noticed that there are police on top of the roof of the sheriff's department. So, don't shoot! Hands up! Don't shoot! Don't shoot! And they're all over the place. They're just kind of peering down. And this one was my favorite because this guy's got like the white supremacist like kind of outfit. Like, he's got the skinhead, right? He's got, like, you know, heads up, man on the roof, right? Like, this guy's got the skinhead. He's got, like, the fucking white supremacist neck gaiter, poorly done. He's got, like, the biggest combat gear. He's got pockets everywhere. He's got, like, 4 guns, right? Like, this motherfucker is, like, ready to kill people. And he's, like, looking over and he's probably thinking, look at all these ants. Blah, right? And it's crazy. And so there was a couple of them on the roof, and then when we saw these motherfuckers on the roof, we were just like, all right, we're gonna get the megaphone and we're just gonna fucking chant, you know, we're gonna go after them. And so that's what we did. And so around this point, as you can see, we're still here outside of the public safety building. And then at a certain point, it's clear that, like, you know, the footage we're only going to get redacted footage. And so what we decided to do is march through Elizabeth City once again, until the cows come home, and then some. So the cows did come home, and then you know, we stayed out a little bit longer. But anyway, so we continue to march through the city, occupy major roads of commerce. I got this amazing photograph of a space dog, and it's loading currently, but you have to wait. It's amazing. Just wait for this photo. I know that it's on screen, and the Twitter should not take that long. But I had this amazing photograph of a space dog. They had goggles. They had little boots. It's amazing. They had a sign. Only 20 seconds is in reference to the fact that only 20 seconds of body camera footage from one officer with blurs and with, like, sensors over identities and that kind of stuff. Only 20 seconds, heavily edited, was given to the family of Andrew. And so we had a space dog that was with us, marching with us. And so we marched to the main road of commerce. And again, one of the things about Elizabeth City being such a small town is that we can go from downtown to this street in about 5 minutes it takes us to go, right? So because it's such a small town, we can realistically shut down the whole city all, like, within the span of an hour, right? And it's like, this is not something that you can do realistically in a New York City or in a Minneapolis or in a Portland or in a Seattle, but this is something you can do in a small southern town. And so this is what we've been doing, is we've been kind of like just marching throughout the entire town, shutting down all the major areas of business and commerce. And there are, again, having been people from local businesses, small businesses, they've come out to support us, some of them. They've come out, give us water, snacks. Now, I don't partake in the snacks, right? I'm against sugar, but hey, someone, if you need those carbs, get them, buddy, right? You know, like, we're not all me. And some people have gotten out of their businesses to march with us. And then also some people have said, like, you know, like, hey, I'm trying to get to my work. I work right there. I own that place. And we let them through. That kind of stuff. This is an interesting comment in the chat. Listened on the scanner last night. Snarkity Snark, whatever. I'm sorry, I can't read your name because I'm delusional. Could you do me a favor and if you are going to do that again, like, send me messages of information? I would very, very much so appreciate that, because we need people like that are listening to the scanner at all times. We have a couple people, and if you want to like sign up for that, that would be amazing. Cops are frustrated that you kept changing directions. Also said specifically not to mess with ATVs. Their main concern was protecting schools and stores. Yeah, so what we do is we go from intersection to intersection, and we all wait for each other, and then we decide collectively as a group where we're going to go next. So it's not like we're marching down the main road and we get to the end of the road and then we go back down the main road. No. We go down the main road, we go halfway, and then we say, all right, let's go back to downtown. And then we'll start marching back downtown. And then all the cops have to get in their cars. And it's like, oh, we thought you were going to go. And then so, yes, that's been kind of the strategy, is we've been purposefully going. And it's not even really like that we're changing the direction. It's just so much more so that we are not making these advanced plans, right? We are just waiting, and we are collectively deciding, all right, they're all down here. So if they're all down here, let's go over there. And then we go over there, right? And so so from this point, we're all occupying the major roads. And then there's a car dealership with all the cars that are gone because the car dealer thinks that all the rioters and looters or whatever. So you see a bunch of press get on the car displays there. And then we start marching into the neighborhoods once again at this point. And so that's pretty, again. And so we go from there to the home of the county attorney. Please be very secretive about scanner info. During our protest, once the NOPD, New Orleans Police Department, found out we had their frequency, they went radio silent. That's a good point. I doubt the police are watching my show, but they might be watching my show. And so that's a good point. For anyone, yeah, there you go. So we go up to this, the county attorney's house, who's been one of the people that says, you can't release the video. It's illegal to release the video. So we went to this motherfucker's house. Now, I'm not sure if they were home, but again, the message was received. So at this point, I call into the David Feldman show, right? And so this is like, it takes place after my call into the David Feldman show. So I call into the David Feldman show. Now you might be wondering, the David Feldman show, what's that? So there's this guy, his name is David Feldman, and he's got a show, and he invited me on the show. And so now, I will say, originally the show was scheduled for 8, then it was scheduled for 10 o'clock, and then David DM'd me and is like, is 8:30 okay? And I'm like, I guess. I mean, I'd prefer 10, but I guess it's okay. And then he's like, great. And I'm like, all right, so I guess I'm doing 8:30. Right, so at this point, I get ready to figure out how to use Zoom on my mobile phone. Right, and so I sit back, they're starting to march through the residential neighborhoods, and again, not necessarily like the lower class, but not necessarily the higher class, but more of like, the middle-ish class, and I don't want to make any sort of discriminations or distinctions or hard rules here, but again, this is where the county attorney was, and so they start marching through the neighborhood, and I'm trying to call in on the David Feldman show, and so eventually I get on. And so, and then when I get on, there's a bunch of cars that join in our march. And this is when we start having dirt bikes, ATVs, all kinds of other, like, we have, motorcycles. We have, like, all that kind of stuff. People riding their bicycles through the crowd. So I'm trying to figure out how to use Zoom. There's a shitload of honking, right? And then, like, David Feldman, like, I can't figure out how the show's going to work, right? So I'm like listening to his show, like in the little Zoom chat, trying to be like, I'm here, like, what do? I don't know what to do. I've never used Zoom mobile. And so then eventually, like, we figure it out, and I'm on there. And so, I'm giving, I'm like down the street and I'm trying to like, do like, go watch my David Feldman show appearance. I'm going to try to find a way to clip it. If someone can get me a timestamp and a link, if someone can ask David Feldman if I can clip it and then post it on my channel, I would love to do that. And so again, and then also like Status Quo came down here yesterday. And I met up with them, at some point, and said hello. And so they're going to be down here. They're probably streaming right now, actually, because there's a press conference going on. But they're going to be down here until Friday, to my understanding, not to, give away their details. But yeah, so I'm on the David Feldman show. So I try to be either in the middle of the crowd, the front of the crowd. I like to be in the very front of the crowd as much as I possibly can, me personally, because, that's what I figure my role should be. But again, I'm trying to get on the show. And so I'm in the back. And then so while the course of the show is going on, I'm trying to do like the whole recap. Right, like David Feldman's doing trying to do as professional of like a recap as possible, and I, again, I need to remind everyone I'm high on many drugs at this point, and so it's nighttime, my legs hurt, I'm high on drugs, I'm on the David Feldman show. He's trying to do like a very professional like fucking news broadcast. I'm trying to keep up. Now, I'm told that the segment was good. I'm told that the segment was pretty good. I'm told that, I did a good job. I'm told that I behaved. I didn't even swear, according to reports. But and so after that, around when the time was coming where the show was ending, I was like, okay, it's 8:58. I got to find where the crowd is. So I'm starting to run through, and I'm like, where the hell am I? And then eventually I meet up with the crowd. They're at the bridge once again. So again, we've circled the entire city. We started at the public safety, and then they're at the bridge. This is when they're marching back to the bridge. Okay, never mind. I met up with them at the bridge, and then I didn't record anything because I had to have my phone charged. And so this is when we're back at the main road of commerce. So we go back to the bridge, then we go back to this road, and then we do one last occupation, then we go back, and then we go home. And so, and I didn't get much of the dirt bike and ATV footage, but this is like close to the end when we're coming back into the main city. Because honestly, I was just kind of so absorbing the atmosphere. As soon as I was done with the David Feldman show, I decided to smoke a fuckload of weed. Because when else are you going to smoke weed in front of, like, sitting in the middle of the street in your town, right? Like, when else is that going to be a situation that occurs? When else are you going to do these illegal drugs where, like, in front of police, where they're not going to do anything, where all of your friends and neighbors are there with you? I don't know. So that was me. So I got really fucking high at this point. And so now, again, I would recommend watching the Status Quo coverage as well. They do really good coverage, especially John, who's the guy who's the guy here. He does really good coverage and, like, live streams. I don't consider that my role. I smoke totally legal CBD products, of course. I don't consider that my role to be a live streamer at a protest, especially if it's in my city. I consider my role to be an active participant in the protests, and I'll do some reporting, and I'll speak to some people, and I'll try to transmit some information, because I do have a following, right? And so, that's my role. But, like, if someone else coming to document the protest, I consider that just tertiary evidence and stuff that it makes me have to do less. So I would recommend going to watch their footage. But yeah, so we had this, like, whole street occupied, right? We had people with bicycles, dirt bikes, ATVs, people with, like, actual vehicles, people with skateboards doing it was an amazing, I'm going to be honest, it was surreal, right? It was surreal to experience this kind of, like, everyone was cool, everyone was chilling, people walking up to each other saying hello, people were, like, exchanging names and numbers. It was an amazing experience. And again, it's one thing to be at a protest in a town, like in a big city, right? In a big city where it's like, there's millions of people, right? Where it's like, yeah, you're going to meet new people. Yeah, you're going to meet your neighbors, but it's such a small percentage of, like, but this is like we've had the same people out every day. And right, so there's the same people out that I have seen, because I have been out since day one. And so we've had the same people out every single day. We are getting, like, to know each other. We're all, like, like, hanging out with each other at these protests. And it's just, like, it's just surreal. Again, it's surreal, like, to live in this small town and to have, like, a considerable percentage of the population in this small town be willing to do this kind of stuff. And again, we do have outside support. We do have people that are not from Elizabeth City marching with us. But again, it is very surreal to see this kind of action in such a small town, especially in a town where I live in. And so, again, I consider it my role to be an active participant in the protests. I try to document interesting information as things occur. But that's kind of my role. I'm not there to, be a live streamer. I'm not there, I want to retain privacy. I want to, all that kind of stuff. And there's plenty of Facebook live feeds. There's plenty of YouTube streams now that Status Quo is down there, right? So if that's if you want to watch that and then have my Twitter page open for updates as well, feel free to do so. But yeah, that was day 6 of the Elizabeth City protests to demand justice for Andrew Brown. We have still not received full unedited video footage. We have only received 20, and by we, I mean the family of Andrew Brown and not publicly, have only received 20 seconds of highly edited footage that gives them no information other than just showing them this is how your family member was assassinated, and we're not going to tell you who did it. We're not going to tell you why they did it. We're not going to tell you how they thought it was a good idea. We're just going to tell you, yes, this is how your family member was assassinated. Good luck figuring the rest of this out. So the cops are garbage. The sheriff's department needs to be marched out in handcuffs, and we need to have some serious policy reforms in this goddamn fucking city and across the entire state of North Carolina. And so, again, I will be covering day 7, the 7th day, today around whenever the show is over, and then I get all the editing done and then put everything on YouTube. So I'll probably be down there in like an hour, maybe an hour and a half. And so I'll be getting y'all some ground coverage when that happens. And so, yeah, that's day 6, and I think I've said that like 8 times, so I'm going to go ahead and say that once again. That was day 6, and that's it. That was the recap. All right, okay. About an hour-long show here. All right, I'll do an hour-long show. They're going to do an independent autopsy. Okay. That's good, that's good. But yeah, so again, I appreciate everyone for watching the stream. I normally would love to shit talk and post about the chat and with the chat for the next hour. I would love to spend the next hour talking about doing drugs and, watching anime. That would be amazing. But I'm not going to do that because I have stuff to do. And so I thank you all for being here. I got to make breakfast. I got to do all kinds of stuff. So again, I thank you all for being here. Y'all are amazing. And again, if y'all want to provide any form of financial support for these protests specifically, if you were to send me money on PayPal or Cash App, I will get that money instantly. I will be able to use that money instantly, and I will, in case anything comes up. So if that's something that someone wants to do, feel free to do so. Don't feel compelled to do so. What kind of anarchist has stuff to do? The kind of anarchist whose city is currently engaging in radical protest. That's the kind of anarchist, Catherine Elizabeth. I'm sorry that it's so boring where you live, but here it's not boring. It's cool. This is where the cool kids are. And so we're hanging out. Check my PayPal. I will check my PayPal. In fact, I'm doing it right now, so... Thank you, Amanda. Thank you for the PayPal. I appreciate you so much for that. And again, I will use that with whatever I need, whatever anyone else needs. All that stuff. Keep up your good, decent work. I mean, okay, thank you for that. I thought my work was great, right? But thank you for reminding me it's just good. Thank you for that. Thank you, Cheyenne. No, I'm just kidding. Andrea, please be safe. Know that as a white ally, all you can do other things that others can, and know that you're amazing and you're supported. Again, that's why I try to get into the front of the crowds. There's a lot of the time where people will go off and speak to police, and I try to be next to them at all times. I try to utilize my status as much as possible. And so... that's my role. I like to be in the front. I like to be an active participant. I like to scream. I like to yell. That's why my voice sounds like shit over the last couple of days. I like to scream. I like to yell. and I like to do things that other people are not in a position to do. So I'm also young. I'm healthy. I am able-bodied, right? I have been on a good diet for a significant period of time. And I'm ready for this, right? So if you're old, if you don't have a good diet, if you can't go out there all day, I'm out there all day. Well, I guess I'm not because it's happening right now and I'm not there, but I will be out there, right? So it's like, that's all that, we can really ask for is that everyone who's able and willing is out there, and that's really what we need to do. And able and willing, they all have their own, everyone's got their own unique definition of able and willing. And my definition of able and willing is like, I get to the front of the crowds, get in between the cops and everyone else, and get loud, but stay in line, and don't do things, don't instigate. You can't instigate. As a white person at a protest, if you're instigating, I'm sorry, man, but what the fuck? You cannot be instigating. If you're white at a Black Lives Matter protest or anything like that, you cannot be the one out there going like middle fingers to the cops. Like, if everyone's doing it, right, definitely participate, right? But you gotta follow the lead on that shit. You can't like be a white person and go run onto like and jump on the hood of a police car, because that you're just fucking everyone else over. You're gonna be fine. You're gonna get away with it. And if you do get arrested, you'll be fine. But everyone else, right? They're gonna get fucked over. And that's what a lot of people need to understand that. And we don't have that many people that are trying to be out of line in Elizabeth City. We have a couple people that are like, we should do this, but they're not actually actively going about and doing that. And so like, but I'm not saying that that's happening here. I'm just saying if anyone does protest in their own environment, and this is the context of these protests, to be careful, and to stay in line and don't be one of those people that gets carried away. And I get it, right? I get it. I understand, right? To be carried away. You had a lot of caffeine. You're just ready to rumble. I understand that. But this isn't like, you're not the main character, right? We're all part of one community. You're not like, you're not like rising from, and you're not, just plain and simple, you're not the main character. You don't want the whole community to be liable for actions that one person has done. You want the whole community to be liable for actions of the whole community, and you want those actions to be democratically decided and deliberated upon. And so there you go. The only main character is Bodan. Correct. I've been sharing this with all my live streaming friends. Thank you so much, Cheyenne. I appreciate that. Yeah, Ben Dixon follows me. I'm still waiting to get on the Ben Dixon show. He retweets me sometimes, right? Still waiting. Ben, I'm waiting. Where's my cell phone? I don't have, it's charging. So I'm waiting. Maybe Ben has already contacted me and I just don't know yet. I'm waiting. Ben Dixon, hello. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just joking. But yeah, no, I am aware, and I believe that he is aware that we both exist in this world together. Those might be provocateurs. They might be. That's very possible. But either way, if people have been provoking, they've been, brought in very quickly. Nothing has occurred. Bodan was here earlier. Bodan was here at the start of the stream. I don't know where Bodan is at this point. But again, thank y'all for watching. I am going, I don't know why I'm speaking like this, to see you again very soon. I will be at the protests. I will be giving y'all updates when I get there. And again, I hope everyone has a great day. I hope everyone has a wonderful day. I just want to reopen this offer because shit's like, it's getting more and more escalatory. If you want to travel to Elizabeth City and you need somewhere to stay, let me know. I cannot guarantee you, especially depending on how many people were to reach out to me, right? I cannot guarantee you that I can accommodate you. But if you are like 2-3 hours away or something and you want to show up for the protests for a couple of days, right? Feel free to reach out to me. And, I'll try my best to figure out what we can do as far as that's concerned. And so, I'm just throwing that out there. Am I a fan of the Majority Report? Yes, I am. And I actually called in and had a clip made of this whole story. I called in, I think, the day after it happened, so some of the details were sparse. But either way. Were you on David Feldman? Yes, I was on the David Feldman show yesterday. I will try to, get that, clipped out and on my channel at some point, maybe. But, you know, just go to my Discord and ask someone for, you know, the timestamp, and I'm sure they can accommodate you. Am I streaming the protest? No, I am not. If you want to watch a live stream of the protest, watch Status Coup. I post video updates when major things are happening, or like if I haven't posted an update in a while. But like I was saying before, I view myself as a participant in the protests, not a documenter, not a report. I mean, I guess you could consider me a reporter. I am reporting in some capacity, but I consider myself first and foremost a participant, and I don't want to be distracted with a live stream. I don't want to be distracted. I don't want to waste my phone battery on a live stream, and then, like, you know, 8 p.m. comes around, the sun is set, and I've got 40% battery left, or 30%. You know, I don't want to be in that situation. You know, so, like, I don't consider myself, I'm not equipped, I'm not prepared, and honestly, that's not my field of expertise, is to be a live streamer at a protest. Now, if I were in a city I don't live in, like, let's say if I were to travel to another city, maybe I would stream protests like that, maybe. But again, considering this is my city, I need to be an active participant, and I need to be a member of the community more so than I need to be anything else. I wish I could come, Andrea, since I'm only 3 hours from you, but I don't have transpo, and I wouldn't have anyone to keep my puppers. It's all good. It's all good. You know, do what you can. All that stuff. Oh, there's the timestamp for my appearance on the show. Have I seen Status Coup? Yes, I talked to them last night. I was apparently on their feed a lot yesterday, so go watch the VOD, and when I go out there, I'll let y'all know. But go, if you want to watch a live stream, watch Status Coup, because they do good footage, right? And also, I will be caught on camera a lot, and I'll probably like run into them and talk to them a bunch. So I'm just throwing that out there. If you want to see me, right, you can see me on ABC News. You can see me on Spectrum News. You can see me on Wavy. You can see me on, guess what? CNN. You can see me on the Daily Advance. And you can see me on Status Coup. You can see me everywhere. Why? Because I'm all over the place. Anyway, thank you for watching. Y'all have a good one. Again, if you want to provide me any sort of financial support, PayPal is preferred and appreciated. Other than that, thank you all. Have a great day. And, you know, that's it. That's all I got. It's over. It's done. It's done. You just gotta turn it off. You just gotta turn it off. It's over. It's fucking over, everyone. Look, I'm about to cue up the sound clips.
And then they have cans of soup.
It's over. Turn it off.
Soup. And they throw the cans of soup. That's better than a brick, because you can't throw a brick. It's too heavy. But a can of soup, you can really put some power into that, right? And then when they get caught, they say, no, this is soup for my family. They're so innocent. This is soup for my family. It's incredible. And you have people coming over with bags of soup, big bags of soup, and they lay it on the ground, and the anarchists take it and they start throwing it at our cops, at our police. And if it hits you, that's worse than a brick, because it's got force. It's the perfect size. It's like made perfect. And when they get caught, they say, no, this is just soup for my family. And then the media says, this is just soup. These people are very, very innocent. They're innocent people.
I hate the white man. He's of the devil. He was made in a cave in the worst parts of Europe, produced from the lowest forms of humanity.
That was an opinion of somebody, and that was a retweet. I'll put it out there. People can decide for themselves. I don't take a decision.
It's not that they don't want to help. They don't know quite what to do. Play the radio. Make sure the television, make sure you have the record player on at night. The phone. Make sure the kids hear word.
We've ended the war on American energy. We were in war. And we've ended the war on beautiful, clean coal, one of our great natural resources.
And this is just the beginning of America First.
Antifa exists.
They had a very bad original concept.
Get your words straight, Jack.
Everybody comes in your grandmother ear.
And then they have cans of soup. Soup.